This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, an amazing camera from DJI that I really love. It's been about 5 months I'm using it. I made lots of videos about it. There are lots of other videos on the internet and on YouTube about this camera. In this video now, I decided to share with you my long-term review for this DJI Osmo Pocket 3, the pros, the cons, and I will share with you my favorite accessories for this camera. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Photorabs. I make videos about photography, filmmaking, camera tech related reviews, unboxings, action cams, vlogging kits and so on. If you are interested in these topics, I highly appreciate if you go subscribe to my channel. That's a massive help. In today's video I'm going to talk once again about this DJI Osmo Pocket 3 because this is a great camera that I'm using a lot. Somehow I can say on a daily basis, and this one is an amazing camera from DJI. It has lots of pros and lots of cons, and I decided also to share with you my favorite accessories as I said in the intro. This video is not sponsored by DJI or by any of the brands that I will mention in this video, so if you like my content I highly appreciate if you hit that like button under this video. That helps me a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And now let's talk about this DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This camera has a 1-inch sensor, exactly the same size that we can find on the Sony ZV-1 and the Sony ZV-1 Mark II that I have here as a top-down camera here on my top-down rig. And I can say in an honest way that this camera, the DJI Pocket 3, slapped the Sony ZV-1 and the Sony ZV-1 Mark II, and the sales of the Sony ZV-1 and the Sony ZV-1 Mark II are going down and down, especially after the release of this one. So this is a much better option, a much better solution if you would like to have a pocket camera than having the Sony ZV-1 Mark II that has a great image quality as well. And I can say also that I regret somehow buying this Fujifilm X-S20 because I bought it mainly to use it as a vlogging camera, but now with this Pocket 3 I find myself a lot using this one rather than this one. This one, I know it's more versatile. We can take photos with it, we can have exchangeable lens system, we can use whatever we need as lenses on this camera. We can put a pop-up flash, we can put here on the hot shoe a flash, we can use a microphone, a big microphone on this camera, we have a bigger screen. But when vlogging with this one, I really prefer vlogging with the Pocket 3. It's lighter, smaller, more compact than this one, and you can vlog in the streets much easier with this kind of cameras rather than this Fujifilm X-S20. As I said before, we have a 1-inch sensor on this one, way smaller than the APS-C that I have on my Fuji X-S20 for example, but we can shoot in 10-bit color depth, and we have the D-Log-M, which is the flat profile from DJI, so we can color grade later on, and we have a wider dynamic range on this camera. We have a low light mode, which is very helpful if you'd like to film or to vlog in low light conditions. The image quality is amazing in low light. I really love it. So who needs an APS-C sensor or a full frame sensor to vlog in 2024 when we have a great 1-inch sensor like this one once again? And that's the main selling point of this camera. It's small, compact, and it delivers high quality images, and that's something that personally I really love on this one. For me, this camera is a grab and record, so I try to keep it in auto mode, auto exposure and auto white balance. I find that it manages very well the white balance, and it slightly overexposes a little bit in some scenarios, in some cases. That's why I turn a little bit down the exposure compensation on this camera to minus 0.7 or minus 0.3, and that's it, and I can shoot with it without issues at all in automatic mode. And I'll get to the ND filters later on in another section in this video for the accessories, because I don't use the ND filters a lot, but I love to have them because they allow you to have lots of freedom, lots of creativity when you are shooting with this tiny little camera, but I'll get to them later on in this video. What I like also about this camera is that we can shoot in 4K 120 frames per second for an extreme slow motion shots, for extreme slow motion b-rolls, for products and so on, and that's amazing. And thanks to the mechanical gimbal, you have stabilized footages, and that's something that personally I really love, because I don't need any more to carry with me this camera or a gimbal in order to have slow motion shots with stable and smooth footages. Now I can have everything inside of this tiny little one. I can vlog with it, I can do my b-roll shots with it, I can even do some close-up shots because the focusing distance is about maybe 20 or 30 centimeters, so I can do some product showcase with this camera, and that's amazing for creators. The battery on this camera is insane. Once again, we can use it for maybe 2 hours of runtime in 4K 25 frames per second. I never had issues with it. I have also the extended battery from DJI, so we can add a bit more than 1 hour and a half with the extended battery, and that's amazing. I have 2 of them because I don't know when I will need it, so I keep with me 2 extended batteries just in case. And we have the fast charging technique on this one, so we can go from 0 to 80% I think in about 15 minutes, which is insane. Once again, they included lots of cool technologies in this tiny little camera, and you can run with it, I can say, for the whole day without problems at all, especially if you have this one. Because imagine you are plugging this one to your camera, you are filming, and then this one will deplete before the internal battery. You can take it out, you can charge it on a USB-C charger, and then you can continue filming with this one with the internal battery of the camera. And when this one is charged, you can put it back and it will charge the internal battery when using the camera. So literally, if you have at least one of these extended batteries, you can run with the camera without problems for more than a day without issues at all. I'm sure about that. Since this camera was released, we had several firmware updates, and the latest one is the greatest one because now we can stop recording while using it, and this is insane. It was first introduced in this Insta360 Ace Pro, and to be honest, I wish that all the camera manufacturers will add this feature to their cameras, even the mirrorless cameras, because I cannot imagine the time I spend every time I'm making my videos just to delete unusable footages on my SD cards. And this is a game changer for all the content creators out there to have this feature on their cameras, and this is a time saver as well. And I cannot forget the audio quality coming out from this camera, from the internal microphone of this camera. This is a great internal microphone that we have here, but also we have this DJI Mic 2 that can be connected wirelessly to this camera without the need of the receiver, and this is an amazing feature. We can record internally in 32-bit float. We can use it to start and stop recording. We can trigger the camera basically with this one, and we can have great audio quality coming out from it, and that's something that I really love. And this is my go-to microphone, by the way, for all my content creation when I'm vlogging, whether with this camera or with my other cameras, because the audio quality coming out from this one is perfect. And again, on the latest firmware update, now we have something related to the audio level as well. Now we can use this one to record the main audio, but we can use simultaneously the built-in microphone on this camera to record the surrounding sounds. Imagine you are on the beach, you are talking to the camera, but you'd like also that the camera will record the surrounding noise around and the surrounding audio around. Now it's possible with this latest firmware update, and that's why I highly recommend you to get this DJI Mic 2 to pair it with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And speaking of recommendation, I highly recommend you also to get this wide-angle lens for your DJI Osmo Pocket 3, because the focal length is about 20mm, so if you are vlogging at this distance away, it's very tight. You need to have this wide-angle lens in order to have a wider field of view on your camera, and this is way more important to vlog with, and I keep it with me all the time I'm going out with this camera. By the way, K&F Concept are making a much cheaper version of this one. I will try it very soon. I'll make a comparison between this one and the K&F Concept version of the wide angle lens. So if you are interested, I highly appreciate if you ring the bell so you can receive all the notifications about my future posts. And then speaking of CanDef Concept, they made also these variable ND filters. I made videos about them on my channel, you can go check them out. What I love about these filters is that I can use them, of course, magnetically with my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And the good thing is that I can close my camera, I can turn off my camera, and the filter will go inside and the gimbal will close perfectly. And this is the main reason why I love these variable ND filters from CanDef Concept. Let's talk a little bit about the protection for this camera, how I protect it and how I carry it with me. You know that this one is a very nice one. It's very protective because it's hard shell from all the sides, so you can slide your camera in it. You can have two filters, the wide angle lens and the variable ND filters. I have them inside of this one, and the camera is really protected. But every time I would like to use this camera, I have to pull on the camera to take it out, and personally I don't like that a lot. That's why I got this piece of plastic here that fits perfectly on this DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Now I have the screen protected as well as the gimbal protected here, as you can see. You can hold it from the gimbal side, and this is an amazing piece of plastic that protects my camera, so I can now slide this camera literally in my pocket without having this one, because whenever I need to take the camera out, it's easy. I can remove this piece of plastic here and I can turn on the camera and start shooting, and that's something that is really interesting. This one cost about, I think, 10 euros or a little bit more. And by the way, you can find in the description below all the links of the items that I will mention in this video. These are affiliate links. Make sure to check them down if you are interested in this camera and its accessories. I highly recommend also this tracker bag from Ulanzi, because we know that the pouch that came with the DJI Pocket 3 is very tight, very small. I don't love it at all. That's why I got this one. I made a video about it. You can go check it out here. This one is a waterproof, dust-proof, and I think it's a scratch-proof sling bag. It's a very compact one. I can put my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 with lots of accessories, the extended battery, the mic, the tripod holder. I can put also maybe an action camera in it. I can put lots of stuff in it. I can put my smartphone as well, with my wallet, my keys, everything I need inside of this one. It's like a personal carry sling bag where you can fit all of your stuff and they are protected inside. That's why I love it, and it's about maybe 40 euros or something like that. Again, I will list everything in the description below. And concerning the tripods, I love this PGYTech Mantis Pod Z. I made a video about it previously on my channel. You can use it as a tabletop tripod. You can extend it a little bit as a selfie stick. You can create some low down shots, low angle shots with this particular tripod, this Mantis Pod Z tripod from PGYTech, and you can hang it wherever you want thanks to this piece of plastic on this side. Again, I made a video about it, you can go check it out. But recently I find myself using a lot another tripod from Ulanzi, the MT78, which is this one. This is not a tripod basically, this is a light stand, but it's a very lightweight light stand, and I added this cap lock here from PGYTech, so I can put my camera, where is it? It's here. So I can put my camera directly, and the advantage of this one is that I can take it high at my eye levels. That means that I can use it to vlog in the streets at eye level. I can put it to record some b-rolls of me walking or something like that without problems at all. I can turn this on, I can extend it, and you can see it's a very long one, and it's really helpful if you'd like to create content with your DJI Osmo Pocket 3. You can use this one, of course, the PGYTech Mantis Pod Z, but you are limited in the height, while with this one it's much easier. And this one is a compact one. It's not heavy, it's really lightweight, and it's about maybe 20 euros only for this MT78 from Ulanzi. Ulanzi are making great products recently. Again, this is a light stand, maybe for some small LED panels, but I use it with my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and it's a perfect match. As I said throughout all of this video, this camera is a great one, but it has lots of flaws. One of them is related to this wide angle lens filter that I have here, because it's too thick. When I have it here, and I have it, I can say maybe 90% of the times I have it on my camera, and if I would like to turn off the camera, I cannot close the lens perfectly inside of the gimbal because this one is too thick. I wish we have more space on this side here. That would be perfect. Another stuff related to the focal length is that a 20mm that we have here is so tight. I wish we had maybe 15 or 16mm natively inside of this camera, and we get maybe a zoom filter that we can use in order to have a more reach with this camera. That would be even better in my opinion. And if we'll talk about this one, I don't know why we don't have magnets from both sides. We know that from one side we have magnets, we can put it on the camera, but if you would like to put a snow mist filter, we cannot. If you'd like to put a variable ND filter or an ND filter on top of this wide angle lens, we cannot. And I really don't know why we don't have magnets from both sides, so we can maybe put this one. Okay, we are happy with this wide angle lens, but we need to have some snow mist filter, some black mist filter, some variable ND filter. Now it's really impossible, and this is not something that I would like to work with because it's really difficult to manage everything separately. I wish we can have things that we can pile, we can stack one on each other. That would be much better, at least for me. The second flaw that I found on this camera is related to the auto exposure. Even though it exposes fairly well, but for me it is slightly overexposing some of the footages. That's why I dial down the exposure compensation on this camera to -0.3 or -0.7 if I'm using it in automatic mode, if I'm not using variable ND filters or ND filters. And you can try yourself which one is more suitable for you, the -0.3, the -0.7. I saw some YouTubers are using it with -1.0, which is a lot for me. Try it yourself and tell me which are your favorite settings for this camera. The third flaw that I noticed on this camera is that it's a vlogging camera, but it's not waterproof, so we cannot use it in winter season, we cannot use it under the rain, we cannot use it even under slight rain, because we don't have any protection, any rubbery protection on the USB on the bottom side or on the memory card on the side here. I wish we had some rubbery stuff so we can protect these two places from water drops, from rains, and that will make this camera much fun to use even in winter season. When I first got this camera, I noticed a major flaw regarding this extended battery. If you keep it plugged to the camera, you will drain the power from the battery and from the internal battery in the camera inside. So that means in 2 or 3 days when you take the camera to use it again, it will be 0%, and that's not something that you would like to have. Even though you can charge it in a quick way, in 15 minutes you can go from 0 to 80%, but this is not the main purpose of having an extended battery. And I'm sure they can address this in firmware updates, but I don't know why till now we don't have a firmware update to recover from this main issue on this camera and the external battery. So all of these flaws are somehow acceptable because this camera offers a great image quality, great audio quality, a very compact, lightweight, portable. You can use it for lots of scenarios in low light and daylight. So it's a great camera, I can say, for content creators and vloggers. But this flaw that I'll mention now is very bad because this camera is not reliable at all. It happened to me once. I remember I turned on the screen stayed black, the gimbal started, but I couldn't use the camera in any way. All the buttons were not functioning. I tried to plug it, to unplug it, to remove the SD card, to put another SD card, nothing happened. 2 hours later, everything worked perfectly. I contacted DJI, they asked me to send them the camera so they will change it, and that's what happened. I made a video about it previously on my channel, and recently I saw that Thomas Heaton, my favorite landscape photographer and YouTuber, he made a video about this main problem of this camera. He was on a trip, he wanted to film some of the behind the scenes, he took the camera from his pocket, he turned it on, and he had the same problem.
Do not buy DJI products ever.
The drone stopped lighting.
No, it's the Pocket.
Oh, really? Battery gone.
Oh, gone.
And that's why this camera is not reliable. The title of his video was like, do not buy the DJI Pocket 3. And this is a big title, I know. I cannot say that myself because this one is a great camera for beginners, for content creators, for vloggers and so on. But this is not reliable. I wish that DJI will address this problem in a firmware update, because I'm sure that this is a firmware issue and not a hardware issue on this camera. Please DJI, if you're watching, do something, because you cannot have a great camera with a bad firmware inside of it. So here is my long-term review for this camera, the pros, the cons, and my favorite accessories that I'm using on a daily basis with this camera, not the accessories that I got or that I bought and I end up not using them, and in some of the tiers here, these are the accessories that I use on the daily basis with this camera. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, share and subscribe. And don't forget to check the affiliate links. I have lots of promo codes and good deals about photography and videography products. By buying from my affiliate links, you save some money and you help my channel a lot. And thank you for watching. Ciao for now.